Failure Frame. They had a lot of moments in there that I was like, oh man, I do think his powers is real weak though. But I'm like, he made it work.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Irbal Sinergy's shop. I'm your host Sinji. With me, as always, my co-host, the Troll Master, the Sound Master, Irby.
What's up, folks? It's me, baby.
What up, Irb?
How's everyone doing today? You doing all right, sir?
I'm not doing too bad. You know, I tried to get a little more to talk about towards the end, which I did finish an episode of the anime real quick. But my weekly go-tos right before we start recording, neither of them came out with chapters this week.
That ain't too bad.
It ain't
I ain't
good.
too worried about it. Yeah, I feel you, dog.
Both. They didn't come out.
Both of these chapters.
The booth of them.
You.
What up with you?
You know, same old, same old. Just chilling like a villain.
How's that working out for you?
Nah, it's working out swell.
Hey, I see you. I not only see you, I hear you, I feel you. I don't feel you, but I do hear you.
Yeah, I know you hear me.
Yeah, I hear you. Loud and clear, dog.
Hear me roar.
All
Roar!
right, chill out, Katy Perry.
No, I'm a lion. Hear me roar.
Chill out, Katy Perry.
No, it's a lion. You never heard that before?
Heard what?
It's I'm lying. Hear me roar.
Nah, I haven't. I can't say that I have.
Get cultured.
How dare you?
How dare you?
No. How dare you?
Well, anyway, so what's your flavor of the week?
That's a great question. I don't know if I know the answer to. Why don't you pick one, sir?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Failure Frame. They had a lot of moments in there that I was like, oh man, I do think his powers is real weak though. But I'm like, he made it work. Boy got stronger. I feel like that's it draws parallels to the other show,
Nagamo.
Afureta, except
Yep.
for the fact that he wasn't liked by his classmates, or his classmates didn't care for him, and he didn't get kicked out. Like the void set him up to die. And the villainess, she just seems very sketchy. Like I think the one girl's realizing that she's like, I don't know why we have to work for this villainous woman. But hey, that's what it is.
Yeah, the goddess is very sketch.
She doesn't even seem like doesn't seem like a goddess. It just seems like I feel like I don't want to say she's a goddess. I just want to say she's like goddess-like. But even demons have powers that can do that stuff. So they might see her as a goddess, but she's portraying herself in an evil way because a goddess just wouldn't throw someone to the wolves, you know?
Mm-hmm.
She might be like, oh, well, you sit this one out, or you can get another ancillary role and do something else. So it's like, I feel like there's something else there. So I might try to find the books and read.
Ooh, interested enough to read the books, are we? I see.
Yeah, just was like, I'm gonna do something different. Read them up. Nah, I mean,
Yeah, dog.
good story overall. Definitely, he comes off as like he wants not to be a good guy, but he's like, oh, I'll just do this for me. I'm like, okay. So you say, buddy.
Whatever you say, buddy.
But that's not really the case. So we'll just let you get away with that one. Yeah,
Well,
you jam up with your flavor now.
um, no, I don't. I mean, I guess I can get one. Excuse me. I guess I could get one from JoJo's. Give me.
Got 3 seconds.
Hmm. Nah, don't got it.
Dang, that's brazy.
I'll tell you what's really brazy.
What?
I ain't really write any notes down for the second episode I watched. Guess I'm pulling up Netflixo.
You gonna pull out your keister?
Yeah.
On other news, I was going to say that I was reading some articles about the Nintendo Switch and how
Oh, oh,
they're
oh, yo, these terrorists.
they paused the whole pre-orders because I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and order my pre-order, and then they're like, nope, no pre-orders.
Well, they were
I
also
was like,
saying that like unless you're like a member, which I'm not, so I can't pre-order. Just to like eliminate the scalpers from the equation, they're not gonna let people who haven't been members for at least a year prior to the pre-order. Like they're giving
are you,
priority to members.
are you talking about your Nintendo account?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, I've been on that thing for 3 years strong, baby. And so yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
so I was like, but yeah, now that they're off, but they're paused for what 90 days. So I'm like, we'll see, we shall see. But yeah, I was like, yeah, might get one, might not get one. I don't know now. But yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
they
news,
were
and the
saying.
games costing $80. I'm like, but
Well,
the games are backwards compatible. So
I'm okay with a game costing $80 if it has the longevity. See, like, okay, all right. Nintendo, as much as they make fun games, Nintendo, the company itself, is kind of very, very cheap and stingy with the discounts and whatnot. So, like, a game like Kirby probably shouldn't cost $80. Probably shouldn't cost $70. And not to mention, a game like Kirby, after two sequels have come out, should not remain at $60. That's
oh
my
yeah, that's the biggest gripe because it's like, why is Mario Kart 8 $60 though? It's been out for 7 years.
yeah, like GTA 5 has seen the same amount of consoles that Mario Kart 8, and I'm pretty sure GTA 5 is not full priced right now. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's probably outsold Mario. Nah, it probably hasn't outsold Mario Kart 8. I'm not sure. That'd be an interesting statistic. But the Grand Theft Auto series, like GTA 5 and GTA, they're going to sell a lot. I'm sure Mario Kart World is going to sell a lot too because they're making it like semi open world. And that new Donkey Kong game looks pretty interesting. But like, so like the Donkey Kong game, if it's like Mario Odyssey, which it's supposed to be kind of like Mario Odyssey, then that game you can justify that game being $80. Mario Kart World, you can justify that being $80 because you're gonna if they treat Mario Kart World the same way they treated Mario Kart 8, it's gonna see 3 generations and many updates and much love and care. And people
Yeah.
still play Mario Odyssey, so like it's gonna be a big game. The people who just want to beat the game probably won't get their money's worth, but the people who want to do like every little thing on every little on every map, then that's when you get more bang for your buck. But like the other games that you could probably beat in 20 hours if you like really tried, and there's not much exploration after. Those games, even if you wanted to sell them for like $60, $70, you should discount them after a while. It's not Stop being greedy, Nintendo.
Yeah, they just
Now,
they just do what they want to do.
it's unfortunate for anyone countryside who wants a Switch because you know they're just not sure what the prices are going to be. That's why they got canceled or postponed or whatever.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, let me lock this in.
Nope.
Nope.
You knew. You knew. You knew if anyone was gonna jump on, hold a price. Who the fuck's trying to hold a price? Nah, dog. You getting all this price increase, and if where the Switch is coming from.
I think most of them are going to be made in China.
That's yeah. If I'm not mistaken, China is seeing 100%, at least
104.
104% increase on imports. Bro, do you know what kind of number that is?
Yeah.
You know what that would
Essentially,
do
it's-
to the price? Like even if the import cost wasn't the same as the retail, let's say it costs $100 to import. That's 200 before they put a number on it for sell value. That means the price went at least $100 higher.
Yeah.
Not to
Yeah.
mention, PlayStation 5 controllers come from China. I'm pretty sure PlayStation's probably parts of the PlayStation probably come from China. China makes everything.
Yeah.
Why
I did
would,
see
why would he do that?
I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, it's hard to think about that. But I did see another article where Apple flew in a bunch of their iPhones on a plane, which avoided the whole tariff thing itself. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Just finding
that
workarounds.
that would last, or are they going to continue to do that?
I don't know,
I was about to say,
but
if they did that to avoid the current situation, that's only going to work for a generation of iPhones.
yeah. So I'm just like, brr.
The problem
Yeah,
with this is my man sold the tariff idea with abolishing income tax, which sounded good on paper for the people who were going to be able to control themselves when they had extra money and could anticipate the price increases on everything else. The problem is income tax is still very much a thing, and now prices are going up on things.
I mean, you couldn't abolish income tax anyway, because if you did that, the government just wouldn't exist anymore, because there's no way to get money to do what it needed, like the infrastructure of your roads and
Oh yeah,
doing
he
this, that, and
probably
the other.
100% just said that just to get people on board with putting
Yeah,
tariffs in effect.
yeah, no doubt. I say basically sometimes what he does is just say some outlandish stuff. So then the little stuff he does will slide underneath. And so I'm like, yeah, but
I still want to know what they slid underneath when they were trying to expose aliens existing. I don't care what. I don't give
yeah,
a damn about aliens. I want to know what the hell they were trying to hide with that news.
yeah, like you'll see something big and inflammatory. And you're like, what is this? And then like it'll be a little executive orders here and there, and you're like, oh man, you're like, oh, this is what you really wanted.
Yeah,
But
that's a.
yeah,
I'm waiting for something like that to bite us in the ass.
yeah, and I was looking at this one article, and the iPhone 16 Pro Max is just like $1,200. It's now going to be $1,800.
It's crazy out here.
Yeah, so the Switch is going to be $1,000 system. Which at that price, I don't think I need a Switch. So,
I wouldn't get one either. At that price, I'm not getting it. I don't, sorry.
I just buy another computer.
I'd just watch. I'd find a way to play it illegally.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyhow, that was my little news. Video game world, the Switch. Yeah, you want to get into JoJo's, or did you want to talk about some?
Is there any room for me in those jeans?
No,
You sure?
Cherry cola. how catchy are his intros. So they got some bangers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I did watch Doctor Amiku, Spirit Detective, not Spirit Detective, but Doctor Detective. Yeah, they pretty much solved. We're solving the mystery. Didn't solve all the way. Random stuff, but Failure Frame. I liked it. Would recommend. They got the leopard lady. I can't believe they just shoved that man out and killed him. Well, thought he was dead, but he wasn't dead.
He
But the,
wasn't dead.
and then the blood sport. But oh yeah, I also did do some Black Clover that I liked this week. I want to say that Black Clover is if you copy Naruto's homework and they're like just switch it up so it's different. It's because I was like, because I got to the part Master was doing his training, and then the five-headed dragon attacked, and they're doing stuff, and the one guy has an ability to make his beast animal show what you fear the most, and in so doing that, I forget the girl's name, Ichika or something. She, her fear
Yami's
was,
sister, right?
yeah, her fear was she saw her father, and it brought up old memories about her early life and how her father was a tyrant and just a jerk. And her father was like, "Oh, here are some of these fighting warrior pills. You take these, and it will increase your bloodlust and kill." And he just, I don't know why he was so caught up on trying to fight and make clan great again. you know, and so yeah, because times were changing, and so he went and gave her one, and she ended up like blacking out and like murdered her whole clan. And so then Yami took the fall. Was like, he's like, yeah, I killed everyone, because he's like, to tell her that she did that would be torture and unbearable. And I was like, oh no. I was like, if that ain't Itachi, I don't know what is.
Well, I
Because
mean,
I'm like,
you can tell early on Black Clover was heavily inspired by Naruto.
very a short twerpy guy, and Ashta, his hair,
Who seemingly
made,
had no talent.
yeah, no talent, but then he just worked hard and was always off training to get better. That's essentially straight out the Naruto playbook. Naruto went and worked out in the forest, learned the whole Shadow Clone Jutsu, made that his personality. And so I just was like, man, this is really what you're doing. And then the other thing was he came through with the Zen-Ten and was doing all the stuff. And now Ash is like, oh, I'm gonna be Wizard King. So I doubted myself, but I'm coming to get strong. And so now it's the final battle. And what really made this the Naruto light was when Lucius brought back all dead folks. It was like, oh, yeah, you got to fight them too. Brought back those elves, mother, uh, what is it? Light was the name. That was Yacht's brother that was killed. And yeah, it's just strange that Lucius, he has a power. He can just make dead people alive again, and or he could fabricate them again because he absorbed somebody that uses like bone magic and some other magic and then soul magic. So I'm like, this man just a cheat code. Doing Edio Tensei's out here. I was like, yeah, this is Naruto for real.
Doing Edio Tenseis.
And then they straight up killed Scythe Man. He was the first casualty. They came through and shot him. I was like, oh man, they shot the boy.
But you're not caught up,
But
right?
no, but he did do a slash. I mean, he could be still alive, but right now he has a hole through his head, his body, and his arm cut off. And he's like, "How'd you like my last slash? My final slash, Yami?"
I like him. He's
Yeah,
personality wise, his but like the way he fights and whatnot, I like him. He
yeah.
is like I was gonna say this comparing to art, it kind of reminds me of like Orochimaru,
Who?
the Scythe Man.
Yeah, he's well. I wouldn't.
Not like not like. How do I want to explain this? Orochimaru might not be the best example.
Yeah,
Let's say
definitely not.
like maybe Kabuto. No, he kind of gives me like an Orochimaru vibe, at least character design wise. Like he kind of looks like a snake in a vase.
Yeah,
I guess that's just it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably it. But yeah, so he's dying. I'm like, oh man.
I mean,
And so
the main thing from Black Clover that always reminds me of Naruto is the when Finral's brother was about to kill him and they all like went at him to get in his way, and like Asta, Luck, and I forget Fireball dude's name,
Magna.
Magna, was like in his face ready to like, hey, don't move, forget the match, we'll kill you. And it's just like it always reminds me of like the tuning exams when Neji was about to finish off Hinata and they all like went in there to hold him back. It was Hinata, right? Yeah. Yeah, because Guy only
Yeah.
showed up to interfere with Gara and Lee, so it was Neji when Hinata stood up again. And I always found it hilarious how like Kakashi,
I
even
did
though he
think
showed
all
up,
of them.
even
Yeah,
though
I
he
think all of
showed
them
up, he
showed
only
up.
had a hand on it. Like he was just holding it. It was like, the rest of them have it. Fucking Neji and his traumatized daughter. Why? She's a failure. All right, dog. Okay. You
Yeah.
won. You won.
Yeah.
Gotta love. Gotta, man, I'm still upset they killed my boy Neji.
Yeah.
Should have
That
been Kiba.
was yeah, the most useless one.
Should have been
But
Kiba.
he but I think Neji had to die so that because if you think about it, Neji might have been Naruto's real first friend after the everything went down. Like they shared a kinship that he couldn't share with no one else because I wouldn't say that he was hated, but it was like Neji. He understood what Naruto was going through, being ostracized and not being the Neji. He wanted to learn and advance, but he couldn't because of his position, and that's pretty much how Naruto was. He was a social outcast, and no one liked him, so he couldn't gain popularity
Well,
and be ascended to position.
I feel like some of the problems with these older shows were there was a little not enough caution with like backstories and stuff like that. Like the Naruto's backstory is always a little inconsistent with how people treated him and how like, you know, every once in a while he's a part of like this mischievous crew with Shikamaru, Choji, and maybe even Kiba. But like in other flashbacks, they're shunning him. In present day, they're shunning him, and like it's always like kind of they come in different points, and like they kind of like they feel weird sometimes. But the overall consent was like he was shunned. That's supposed to be the story.
Well,
He was shunned by everyone. The only way he could make friends was acting a fool. But the thing that like bugs me is like, so like he like the very first episode of Naruto, very first couple episodes, like you learned that like he's failed that exam to become a Genin like twice. Um, but that would imply that he's whatever the period of time, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, or 2 years, he's like that much time behind his current classmates, but his childhood is with his current classmates. So like there are things like that, and like don't get me wrong, there. I'm sure if I think hard enough,
I
I'd
mean,
find the same thing with like One Piece, and I've noticed things about Dragon Ball that it's just a little inconsistent with like the storytelling.
I mean, I'll put it to you like this way: like you go over the course of a school semester. Now, let's say you take like 4 tests of your school year, you fail 3 of them, and let's say you end up like a D average, or and so you just need like a C, and you end up passing the last one with like 100. You can go to the next grade. So that's how I look at that. So I wouldn't say he's like behind them. Also, with the fact that like the shunning and stuff, like I wouldn't say it's inconsistent. I would just say more so once people found out that's a Nine Tails boy, they were like, "Oh no, leave him alone," because there'd be some older folks that'd be like, "Oh yeah, hey, you fall down, young man? Let me help you out," and then they'd be like, "Oh, it's a Nine Tails," and they'd skedaddle. Like, so it's some people still had those prejudices about it, but I think Shikamaru and them, they didn't. His father didn't care. He was like, "Hey, do you want to follow him or not? You can." So he let him make his own choices, but some people still had their own trepidations about him.
If I had to
And
guess, when it comes to like the other ninjas and like the three teams, um, it was probably the moms.
the
Cause
moms had told him not to mess with him.
yeah, because I can't imagine Choji's dad, Shikamaru's dad, Ino's dad. I can't imagine Kiba's mom. Yeah, because I don't know if I know his dad. I can't imagine Kiba's mom or Ino's dad telling any of their kids to like, hey, that Naruto kid, it ain't it. Chill with that.
Yeah,
It was
but
probably the other
also,
parents.
if you think about it the other way too, like when you was growing up, what are there some kids that you just avoided in class just because you didn't like their get down or what they were doing?
um, no, for the most part, I got along with everyone.
Yeah, but you wasn't. There was probably some kids you were like, no, I don't know about him, so I'm just gonna stay over here.
I would say more now as an adult. I'm kind of like that than when I was in school. In school, I kind of just got along with everybody. That was just. I mean, I had my particular crew I preferred to hang out with, but like, and at any given like I could conversate with anyone. In my grade, I mean, there were. I wasn't actively trying to like associate with like people older or younger. But I do get what you mean. Just
Yeah, because I mean, as a kid, like there'd be some kids like, oh man, that kid's acting up. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm gonna stay over here in my lane, and that's essentially, I feel like that's what they did, and why they shunned him. But also, I just thought about the scene where they all helped out that one little boy and the outsider, the boy with the snow, and then everyone wiped their memories, and then they all went back to being mean to Naruto. So that could be also the whole catalyst on why you feel that it was wishy washy on the way they treated him.
well, that's a recent one. I mean, it's also there's also the fact that like you know there there are just things that like you don't need to approve of, right? If the creator had any control on like what gets animated, and if the people animating, even if the creator didn't have any control, and the people animating had any sense of like storytelling, I feel like you never do the flashback where the third said he was gonna take care of Naruto, because every time you look at his childhood, that nigga didn't do a damn thing for it. He was drinking expired milk, eating ramen every day. Like, bro, this kid, the only thing he made to give him is rent free place.
Yeah, I mean, he had to make it alive somehow. So I feel like he did take care of him in a regard, but then at some point I feel like he should be old enough where he could take care of himself and do things for himself.
Oh yeah,
So that's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
what he's banking on.
He was old enough. I mean, but when he was a kid, uh,
Yeah, I mean, he made sure he had food, a place to live.
I guess that's enough.
Yeah,
Naruto could have easily been a villain.
yeah, and he said he could have been that way had a few other breaks went, but he didn't.
No, I mean, shoo, I feel like Jiraiya almost pushed him over that edge.
Yeah,
So what? He dead? Nah, bro. He wouldn't have died if you didn't send him.
yeah.
Hey, listen. But I'm glad you're enjoying Black Clover.
Did I say I was enjoying it?
No.
I just alluded to the fact that it's Naruto light.
Hey, if it's Naruto like it, you should be enjoying it.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, I just seen all the parallels. I'm like, and everyone gets to do their touching story with the loved one that they lost, and yeah, this is just gosh darn Edio Tensei Jutsu.
There are a ton of parallels. I think. Well, all right. So let's do this. If we were gonna compare some of the newer generation shows to the older generation, we'll say Black Clover is like Naruto. What would you compare My Hero to? Probably more like One Piece, right, with the powers.
No,
No, what would you
don't
compare it to?
associate My Hero Academia with that trash One Piece.
All right, you didn't need to add shade to it. What would you compare it to then? Not, it's not Naruto. It's not Bleach. It's not Dragon Ball. Listen, whether you
That
want to
is a
admit
good question.
what do you want to admit One Piece is good or not? Most of what's coming out now that's action related is inspired by one of four shows: Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, or One Piece. Some of them by multiple of the four. Like Demon Slayer is
Yeah,
probably more inspired by Bleach than the other three.
probably.
Um, what else? Fire Force. I feel like Fire Force is more of a.
I would say
I feel like
Hunter x Hunter would be more apt for My Hero.
Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is not that old, is it?
Dog came out when I was like 6, man.
I don't even know how old I was.
You weren't even born yet.
You're talking about the original Hunter x Hunter. I'm talking about like the newer one.
I'm talking about it's the same. They just remade it and
Yeah, yeah. But
brightened it
I
up.
don't know if
So
a lot of people know about the older one.
yeah, I know. You know. We all know together. But yeah, but yeah. I mean, there's always been shows where a bunch of people have powers doing stuff. I just can't think of the names. But yeah, continue your diatribe.
What was I doing?
Talking about some BS in One Piece.
I'm gonna say My Hero is probably heavily inspired by One Piece.
Nah. But yeah, continue.
Um, I really don't know what I was talking about other than that.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, here we come.
Um, okay, episode 3 and episode 4, the Nijimura brothers.
Oh yeah.
I'm really honestly, I'm more excited to see what's gonna happen episode 5, considering how episode 4 ended. I thought this guy was gonna be more of a lingering presence, but it seems
Of the
Josuke was
villain.
a bit too much for him.
Yeah, like you'll see what goes on.
But yeah, let's talk about it. So the Nijimura brothers. The blonde one got a hold of a bow that I've never saw Yaba with. The old granny from the last season with Dio. But apparently the bow, you kill someone with the bow, and if they come back, they have a stand. If they don't, then they're dead. They weren't a chosen one. So that's how Angelo got his stand before he died, and that's how he escaped. So we proceed to meet the Nimijuro brothers, which I think the younger one, his stand is interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And we meet him because little homie thought he saw someone in the abandoned house, and when he poked his head in the gate, the younger brother had his neck pinned between the gates, so he couldn't escape. And that's when the older brother shot little homie with an arrow, and that's what spurred the fight between Josuke and the brothers. The younger brother Stan is interesting because like it allows him to make like I feel like erase is the word I want to use, but I feel like it doesn't really describe what I want to say, but like erase whatever it touches. So like kind of almost make it non-existent. I think that's what I want to say. It was like non-existent. So when he like they had a sign that said like "Do not enter" or something like that, and he took a swipe at Josuke and missed. And the sign just said like "Not enter." And like it was still a complete sign, so like that part just it didn't just disappear, it got erased, it ceased to exist as if it was never there at all. But another interesting thing his stand can do, which I guess now that I think about it, kind of maybe be justified by the act of making the space between him and his target vanish, so that's why they get
Condense, I would say that.
right
Yeah, condense, I would say.
condense.
Yeah, because he said, I think he said he puts it in another dimension, but he doesn't even know what happens with that when he
Yeah,
does it.
almost
And he
like
said, I
a
could care
Kamui.
less. Yeah, like a Kamui, bring it out and then bring it back.
I don't know if he can bring it back. I haven't seen him bring anything back. Is all I'm saying to that. I don't know if he can bring it back. But with my thinking that he's making things non-existent, like putting them in the other dimension, because they did the other stand from the guy right before the Dio fight. He had another dimension as well, but you know, Abdul died in
Yeah,
that dimension.
his worked differently. So I couldn't even tell you what his was.
But it's interesting that only his right hand has the ability. Like it almost makes me feel like if maybe if he tried and worked harder, he'd discover a left hand ability, kind of like Jotaro discovering he can stop time. Because that's
Yeah.
an interesting handicap. And then the older brother, while Josuke was fighting, snagged little homie and dragged him into the house. And Josuke got pissed and made light work of the little brother, and then went in after his friend. And they were in the dark, and I was under the assumption that the bow, he didn't really have a stand. It was just the bow I thought the bow kind of worked like the sword from last season. Like the bow was the stand, and it was just controlling him. But no, homie does have a stand, which gets revealed a little later after many little holes get punched into Josuke, and Josuke saves the main dude's little brother from getting shot as well. And Josuke ends up saving his friend with the help of the little brother he was just fighting because he was repaying the favor. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to help you out here, and I'm not going to help my brother. That's all I can do for you. Good luck." So Josuke fixed up his friend, and then the fight between the older brother and Josuke really kind of started when we learned that his stand is controlling like a little army unit, which was working very well against Josuke because apparently his stand only has like a 1 meter range, and he can't heal himself obviously. So if he can't hit and he's kind of trapped, I didn't really know what he was gonna do, but his solution to win that fight was quite genius. He just, he got shot by toy missiles and put them back together and aimed them at the older brother. So that's how he overcame that matchup. It's a little interesting to me. Josuke's stand it's a little interesting to me in terms of like its capabilities versus its flaws. And
Applications, I guess you would say. Yeah.
yeah. Plus I don't think it was mentioned the first two episodes, but he definitely mentioned it in this one. And Josuke's stand, I think, is named Shining Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started to write that, but for some reason I only wrote Diamond, so I'm glad I remembered. And his friend did awaken a stand, which only appeared to be an egg. I just something's gonna come out of it at some point. But the older brother, whose name I forgot, who probably no longer has the bow, so won't be a problem, is looking for a particular stand.
And we talk about how they dragged Hobie with the arrow in his neck all around the place,
Yeah,
the house. That was
I mean, no,
crazy. I'm like,
he only really got an entrance and pulled the arrow out.
I said he should have died.
He should have died,
I
but
feel like he should have died.
he awakened the stand. I guess it was just late to the party.
Yeah.
What's weird about this is they're not even trying to explain how there can be more stands than the cards. Like they kind of explained the Egyptian thing, like, all right, these Egyptian gods. But now we just have regular ass crazy ass stands going on.
I mean, if you think about it, I think it's just like a manifestation of energy. So even though his mother wasn't a stand user, she had a stand. So it's just if you could think about it in that way, then you can get a stand or something, you know.
I do want to note a couple things. One, obviously, Jotaro wasn't involved in this. Just signs of him not being the main character anymore. And then two, when he went to visit Josuke, Josuke's mom immediately thought Jotaro was Joseph, and he had to set that straight. And she thought like he came to protect him. So Jotaro,
Came back for her. I was like, man, listen.
Jotaro had to set her straight, but also like told her, it was like, hey, the old man sent me to watch out for you. Don't you worry. Nothing's gonna happen while I'm around, or something along those lines. Which was like, all right, that's maturity, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was really it. I mean, I did mean to watch more, but it's hard when you're hooked on other shows and like I started when I started season one of JoJo's. It took me a while to get like really into it and get going. But then I was
Yeah.
banging them out, and like I think season two also like maybe took me a little second because like I didn't know how to feel about Jotaro, but the story was interesting, so like it didn't really take me like I was still at a good pace. Now I'm kind of like now I'm like about the art style whatnot again, so like I'm kind of like more into um watching House at the moment, but like I'll get more episodes in. I'll just
I
divvy
feel
my
like this
time up.
art style is probably more in line with the the ones that you current animes. That makes sense. But
Yes, no, I don't disagree with that. I don't at all. But like, it was more so that like I kind of grew to enjoy how they were looking, even though like I thought it was a little unrealistic for like high schoolers. And Josuke does have a realistic body type now. It wasn't only the body type that they changed. It was kind of just like the characteristics and whatnot. Like I didn't mind the characteristics, but I guess you had to make them softer to tone down on the muscles. I'd be curious to know what Joseph looks like right now. Don't know if
yeah.
I'll get to that, but we'll see.
But yeah, it's I definitely feel like it's just I mean, I didn't know big kids like that in high school, but but yeah, we weren't that big,
Yeah.
so that makes sense. Looks swole, but hey, them's the breaks. But yeah, you'll see some stuff.
Yeah, I tried my best to condense those two episodes without missing too much. I feel like did an okay job.
Yeah, you did all right. Not the best,
Not
not the
the
worst.
worst. Jinx.
You owe me two sodas.
Two sodas. Greedy much?
Yeah, I like sodies. No, I'm just kidding. Can't remember the last time I had a sody.
You haven't had a Coke in a while?
No, I don't drink sodas. I only drink the ginger rails.
Is ginger ale soda?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm just gonna say yeah. It's a soda.
I don't mind the occasional like Sprite.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't do
mainly a
that.
Coca Cola person, but I
Coca
wouldn't be mad at like
Cola.
if they didn't have Coca Cola, I'd probably ask for like a Sprite or a Sprite adjacent drink because Pepsi brand, Cola brand, they all have their similar flavors.
Yeah, cherry cola. That was the the opening. Cherry cola. Hilarious.
Anything else on your heart and mind, Irby?
No, I got nothing on my Dakito.
Um, the beginning after the end, guys. For those who watched the who read the manga, the manhwa, it seems like it feels like this season, if it doesn't ramp up, then this season, depending on how well it do, the next season will be amazingly, significantly better. For those of you who haven't read the manhwa, you're story wise, you're in for a treat. You're not really gonna see anything too different if we're comparing it to like I don't know. What's it, a jobless reincarnate? If you're comparing it to like something like that, you're not gonna see something too different. Obviously, the stories are different, so you will see like differences. But like it's just it's really another. It's an isekai with you know the not really so Irby for explaining to you, not really so like the main character is just OP. It's just that like it's one of those where like he has a understanding from experience on like how to make himself be stronger faster, so he's just has great potential as a child. Do I think you'll enjoy it? Yes. Do I think it's a must watch for you? Not really.
I've already seen the first 2 episodes.
Did you?
No.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Well, that's all I had. I thought I'd talk about it since I didn't have any solo Ragnarok or Blue Lock this week.
What lot?
Blue Lock.
That's what I got to say.
Alrighty. Well, why don't you say your farewells, dog?
Well, that's going to do this for this week's installment of Irbal Sinergy. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friend to tell a friend to go tell a friend about us. And we will catch you next week.
Peace.
Peace.